Have you ever wondered what lurks in the shadows when the world sleeps? Welcome to the chilling tale of the forgotten village of Glenshade. As the sun dips below the horizon, the once bustling village of Glenshade transforms into a ghost town. Life in this quaint hamlet comes to a standstill after twilight. But why? Our tale begins in the early 19th century. Glenshade, nestled in the heart of England, was a thriving village. Its charm lay in its simplicity and the close-knit community that lived there. However, the tranquility didn't last. It was on a dark, tempestuous night when the first incident occurred. The local blacksmith, a burly man known for his strength, was found lifeless in his own forge, his eyes wide open in terror. But what could scare a man of such stature to death? The village was enveloped in a shroud of fear, yet life had to go on. Little did they know this was just the beginning. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The village lost more of its residents in the most horrifying circumstances. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker all met the same gruesome end. Each found lifeless, their faces frozen in an expression of sheer terror. As the death toll rose, the remaining villagers turned to the only source of help they knew, the church. The village priest, a man of faith and wisdom, decided to confront the unseen terror. On a moonless night, he ventured into the heart of the village, armed with nothing but his faith. As the village clock struck midnight, a bone-chilling scream echoed through the silent streets of Glenshade. The priest was found the next morning, lifeless. His face mirrored the same horror that had claimed the lives of his fellow villagers. With their last hope extinguished, the villagers abandoned Glenshade, leaving it to be devoured by the relentless hands of time. Today, the once thriving village of Glenshade stands deserted. Its empty streets and abandoned homes are a stark reminder of its tragic past. But the question remains, what was the cause of these horrifying deaths? Some say it was a curse, others speak of a malevolent spirit. The truth, however, remains shrouded in mystery. To this day, no one dares to step foot in Glenshade after dark. But what if I told you there was one brave soul who decided to unravel the mystery of Glenshade? Who is this person, you ask? Well, that's a story for another time. Until then, remember, when the sun goes down, it's best to stay away from the shadows, especially if you find yourself in Glenshade. As the sun kissed the horizon goodbye, our brave soul stepped into the eerie silence of Glenshade. The once lively town now lay deserted, its chilling atmosphere whispering tales of the unseen terror. The only sound that could be heard was the crunch of gravel underfoot, but even that seemed to echo ominously around the desolate streets. As our brave soul ventured deeper into the town, the shadows seemed to grow longer, dancing and twisting in the faint moonlight, as if they were alive. The wind howled through the empty buildings, creating a symphony of strange noises that seemed to follow our adventurer, their chilling tunes resonating with the rhythm of a racing heartbeat. In the heart of the town stood the blacksmith's abandoned house. Its once sturdy structure, now a crumbling reminder of the life it once housed. Inside, amidst the debris and dust, the brave soul discovered an old diary. Its pages yellowed with age, the ink faded, but the words still legible. As our brave soul began to read, the horrifying truth of Glenshade began to unfold. The diary held a story untold, a secret buried deep within the heart of the town. But that, dear viewers, is a tale for our next scene. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the mystery and unveil the haunting legacy of Glenshade. Turning the brittle pages of the diary our brave adventurer tore was transported back in time. The words on the page painted a vivid picture of life in Glenshade, of laughter and camaraderie, of a town teeming with life and vitality. But as Tor continued to read, the tone of the diary shifted drastically. It belonged to the blacksmith, the last resident of Glenshade, who had witnessed the town's joyous days turn into endless nights of terror. The diary revealed a chilling secret. Glenshade was cursed, an ancient curse that had been awakened by the greed of the town's former mayor. The curse had a horrifying effect, turning the once lively town into a deserted ghost town. One by one, the townsfolk disappeared, swallowed by the darkness that had descended upon Glenshade. The blacksmith had documented the events, hoping that someone would discover the diary and uncover the truth. The last entry, written in a shaky hand, spoke of the blacksmith's impending doom. As Tor closed the diary, a chill ran down his spine. He was now the sole bearer of Glenshade's harrowing secret, and the tale was far from over. The night was still young, and the shadows in Glenshade were waiting, ready to reveal more of their dark secrets. With each step deeper into Glenshade, the curse seemed more real. Tor, driven by a sense of purpose and a touch of fear, ventured further into the desolate town. The wind howled through the deserted streets, carrying with it the whispers of the past. The diary's tale was coming alive, whispering secrets that echoed in the silence of the night. The shadows danced around him, as if alive, moving in rhythm with his beating heart. Tor felt a chill that wasn't from the cold. It was a chill of something unseen, something lurking in the darkness. He was not alone. Suddenly Tor felt a presence. The air grew colder and the whispers grew louder. Out of the corner of his eye he saw a figure. It was ethereal, flickering like a candle, yet its form was unmistakable. It was the ghost of Glenshade, the remnant of a soul trapped in the eternal night. The ghost looked at Tor with sorrow-filled eyes, its gaze piercing his soul. It pointed towards the old town hall, its figure fading in and out of existence. As the ghost disappeared, leaving behind an eerie silence, Tor knew what he had to do. He was the last hope for Glenshade. He had to break the curse that had doomed the town to a life of eternal darkness. Armed with the knowledge from the diary, Tor decided to confront the curse. He moved towards the town hall, the place where it all started, the epicenter of the curse. His heart pounded in his chest like a war drum, but his resolve was unbreakable. He opened the diary, his fingers tracing the worn pages, following the instructions laid out centuries ago by a wise sage who foresaw the curse's downfall. He began the ritual, his voice echoing through the empty streets, the words forming a melody that danced with the wind. The air around him began to shimmer, a raw energy pulsating from the ground beneath his feet. He could feel the curse fighting back, the town shaking as if it were a living entity resisting its fate. But Tor held firm, his voice never wavering, his spirit never faltering. As the final words left his lips, a blinding light engulfed the town. The shaking stopped, the wind quieted, and the whispers ceased. The ghost of Glenshade appeared before him, a smile gracing its ethereal features. "Thank you," it whispered, its voice softer than the wind, "for setting us free." With that, the ghost faded away, its essence finally finding the peace it had long sought. As the sun rose, Glenshade was no longer a ghost town. The buildings regained their colour, the streets their vibrancy. The curse had been lifted. Tor, with the diary in his hands, watched as the first rays of sunlight pierced the night, bathing the town in a warm golden hue. He had done it, he had broken the curse.